Yorkton is the kind of place where secrets don't last. A town so small, even a whisper travels faster than the wind. But in April 2016, a 16-year-old girl vanished from here, and not one person can say why, or how, or where she went. Her name was Mekayla Bali, and from the moment she walked out of Sacred Heart High School that Tuesday morning, she simply ceased to exist. No trail, no struggle, just a digital ghost, and a haunting silence that's lasted nearly a decade. Before she became the face on missing posters, Mekayla Margaret Kim Bali was just Mekayla, a shy, soft-spoken 16-year-old with a love for music, drama class, and her close-knit family. She lived with her mother, Paula, her younger siblings, her aunt, and grandmother. A home of women who loved fiercely and held each other close. By all appearances, Mekayla was thoughtful, dependable, quiet, yes, but never troubled. Not in any obvious way, but underneath the surface something was shifting. Messages, withdrawals, secrets. And on April 12, 2016, everything unraveled. It began like any other Tuesday. Mekayla showed up at Sacred Heart High School just before 8:30 a.m. She was seen entering the building, but within minutes, she walked out again. Alone. No one knew it at the time, but she would never return. Instead of heading to class, Mekayla made her way downtown on foot. Over the next few hours, her movements were recorded by bank cameras, restaurant CCTV, and eyewitnesses. And every step seemed deliberate, like she was chasing something, or maybe running from it. Her first stop was the TD Bank. There, she withdrew $55 and tried to withdraw more, but her balance was low. Oddly, she asked the teller if a wire transfer had come in. She claimed someone was sending her $5,000. No such transfer existed. That same morning, she messaged several friends. Some of the texts were routine, but others, they hinted at unrest. She told one friend she was unhappy, told another she wanted to leave town, then deleted some of those messages. She even tried to contact someone named Christopher from a number that could never be traced. None of it made sense, because by all accounts, Mekayla wasn't in crisis. She wasn't abused. She wasn't failing school. She wasn't pregnant. She wasn't on drugs. But she was planning something. At 11:42 a.m., Mekayla entered the STC bus depot. She asked an employee when the next bus to Regina would arrive. She never bought a ticket. She didn't board any bus. But she lingered for over an hour. CCTV captured her sitting alone, pacing, checking her phone, talking briefly to strangers, then walking outside, only to return a few minutes later. At 1:45 p.m., she entered the Trail Stop restaurant inside the terminal and ordered lunch. After that, nothing. No more surveillance footage. No witnesses. No tracks. Mekayla's phone remained on until early the next morning. Then, at 6:51 a.m., April 13, it shut off. No pings. No texts. No GPS. Her bank account went untouched. Her passport was never used. Her social media fell silent. Mekayla Bali had vanished, and the world just kept turning. By evening, Mekayla hadn't come home. No texts, no sign of her violin, no answer. At first, her mother, Paula, assumed the usual teenage mood swing. Maybe Mekayla was upset. Maybe she needed space, but something felt wrong. Paula called friends, teachers, then the RCMP. A missing person report was filed that night, and with that, the investigation began. Too late, but just in time, because the more they uncovered, the stranger it got. RCMP quickly gathered surveillance footage from the school, the bank, the bus depot. They built a rough timeline. They saw her arrive at school, then leave, go to the bank, wander around downtown Yorkton, visit a pawn shop, a restaurant, the bus terminal. But then, the footage ends. She simply walked out of frame and never walked back in. Digital forensics offered no lifeline. Mekayla's phone stopped pinging. Her social accounts sat untouched. There were no security alerts, no attempts to access her bank. Nothing. Whatever happened was clean. Too clean. Some witnesses came forward. One said Mekayla looked anxious. Another said she seemed to be waiting for someone. And then, there was the man. One tip described a tall, dark-haired man, possibly in his 30s, seen speaking to Mekayla near the bus depot. She reportedly handed him her phone, then took it back, then walked away. He was never identified, never came forward, and never showed up on any footage. Was it real? Was it rumor? Or was it something far more sinister? Then there was Christopher, a mysterious contact Mekayla tried to reach that morning. Multiple texts, a phone call attempt. But here's the thing. Investigators traced the number. It didn't exist. At least not anymore. Was it a burner phone? An online alias? A trafficker's first point of contact? Police couldn't say. They only knew that Mekayla had been talking to someone. And that someone was gone. Over the years, sightings poured in. Penticton, Edmonton, Fargo. Each time, someone swore they saw her. In a restaurant, on a bus, at a gas station. RCMP chased everyone. They showed up with flyers, facial recognition, phone logs. Every time, a dead end. She wasn't there. She had never been there. Mekayla was still missing. So what happened to Mekayla Bali? There are theories, but no answers. 1. She ran away voluntarily, to escape stress, pain, or something secret. But if that's true, where's her footprint? Why no passport use? Why no money trail? Why no phone? 2. She was lured by someone she met online. A manipulator, predator, someone who promised escape, freedom, affection, maybe even a job, a fresh start. This happened before, in cases like Alicia Kazakovich, or Kayla Berg, or countless girls whose stories never made headlines. 3. Human trafficking. Yorkton sits along routes frequented by traffickers. RCMP explored that angle, but without communication or sightings, they hit a wall. For something darker, a one-time encounter, a crime of opportunity, someone who saw a vulnerable girl and made her vanish. For the Bali family, there are no theories, only hope and heartbreak. Every year on April 12th, they hold a vigil. Friends, community, strangers, all wearing blue, Mekayla's favorite color, all holding onto the same prayer, that she's alive, that she's safe, that someday she'll walk through the door. Her mother, Paula, has become an advocate for missing persons, for more funding, for families who live in the limbo between grief and guessing. It's been 9 years, 9 birthdays, 9 Christmases, 9 empty chairs, and still, no body, no confession, no resolution. Mekayla Bali vanished in broad daylight, in a town where secrets never last. Except this one. Time is supposed to heal, but in the case of Mekayla Bali, time just makes the silence louder. Since 2016, there have been no confirmed sightings, no phone activity, no bank withdrawals, no movements, not a single breadcrumb in nearly a decade. In 2023, the case was reassigned to Saskatchewan's Historical Case Unit. Another sweep, another chance. The RCMP reviewed digital logs, traced dead-end IPs, and re-interviewed witnesses. They followed international leads. New AI tech scanned thousands of surveillance hours. Still, nothing. In 2024, the RCMP publicly admitted something families of missing people already knew. Cold cases don't get enough resources. They slip through the cracks, buried beneath newer emergencies and tighter budgets. Despite the odds, the Bali family never stopped searching. And neither did the town of Yorkton. In 2017, the family offered a $25,000 reward. By 2019, thanks to anonymous donors, that number doubled. In 2020, one donor pulled out, and the amount dropped again. But the community rallied. By 2022, the reward climbed to $100,000. Still active, still waiting. $100,000 for any tip that brings Mekayla home. No matter how small, no matter how long it's been, someone somewhere knows something. And money in cases like this can break a silence. Online, her case has taken on a life of its own. Amateur sleuths, Reddit threads, YouTube timelines, people digging through the fragments, hoping one overlooked moment will spark something new. But the digital trail ends the same way the real one does, abruptly, with no exit, no closure. Even the online footprint she left behind, posts, photos, texts, feels more like an echo than a voice. For Mekayla's mother, Paula, every day begins the same, with the same question: is this the day I'll find her? She's fought for more than just her daughter. She's lobbied for better support systems, more funding, national registries, faster alerts. Because when someone goes missing in Canada, time is your enemy, and silence your greatest threat. What if Mekayla is still out there, older, changed, watching, waiting? What if she ran and stayed hidden? What if someone made her disappear? What if she's alive but can't come home? These are the questions that keep this case alive. Because until there is proof, there is hope. And until there is a body, there is no grave. On April 12, 2016, Mekayla Bali walked into the world and slipped through its cracks. She left behind no struggle, no cries for help, no goodbye. All she left behind was questions. And to this day, the most haunting part isn't how she disappeared. It's how completely she was erased. From a town that should have noticed, from a system that couldn't catch her, and from a timeline that remains broken. If you have any information on the disappearance of Mekayla Bali, call 1-866-543-8477 or contact your local RCMP. If you know something, say something. Even the smallest detail could change everything. Because Mekayla Bali didn't just disappear. She was taken by someone or by something that hasn't yet been found. And her story, still unfinished. This was another story of someone who vanished without a trace. You're watching Trace of Evil. Subscribe if you want the truth, because in the dark, truth is the only thing left to find.